What is going on, y'all? Welcome back to Family and Fit, where we talk fitness and how to integrate in your busy lifestyle. If you watched my last video, you'll understand a little bit why YouTube hates me, or why, not necessarily why YouTube hates me, but that YouTube hates me. And that's not the topic of this video at all. Today I want to talk to you guys about macronutrients, but the thing that I want to do is I want to simplify them and make them very, very simple. Wait, when you simplify them, you already made it simple. Okay. Point being is, these are going to be raw videos. Just want to let you know up front, like, I'm going to do very minimal editing, and if you watch the other video, you'll know a little bit more why. And I'll have a future video coming out as well, so hit that cellular button and bell notification thing, my bobber. And in that video, I'll go in deeper detail about what's going on in my life, especially to the subscribers that I already have. They may want to know kind of what's going on in my life and why I haven't been posting as much, because I was almost posting like a daily video for a little period of time. And let's go ahead and just get into the topic of this video, and y'all just have to watch the other video if you want to know what's up. But the thing that I wanted to do is I basically wanted to dive in and just break different the three main macronutrients down. Well, there's really only three anyway, but there's protein, carbs, and fats, and I want to talk about why they're important, especially in a diet, because when you're in a bulk, I don't think it's near as big of a deal. To be honest, I'll be honest with you, completely honest with you, I don't think macronutrients matter at all if you're in a bulk, other than protein. I think protein matters, and I think your calories matter, and that's generally the only thing that I track. But what I've noticed, like being in this diet and being in a diet for a long period of time and getting leaner and leaner, and like I said, after you've been in a diet for a super long period of time, like months, that's whenever you can start having like adverse effects and like kind of like negative health effects from being in a diet. And you know, I promote things like doing refeeds and taking diet breaks and stuff like that. But I also want to talk about how macronutrients can be helpful and how they play a role in how you feel and overall how your diet progression can go. And what I'll tell you right now is, overall, when it comes to your macronutrients in a diet, it's mainly going to matter how you feel more than anything. It's going to change depending on what macronutrient ratios you're taking in. When it comes to being in a bulk, protein is the main thing that matters. But whenever it comes to being in a diet, that's not necessarily the case. Protein tends to make your stomach feel more full, so you're getting more voluminous food. It has just more volume. Protein overall just has more volume, and it makes you feel fuller as far as your stomach being like bloated out and having that full filling. Now, fats, the main thing that's gonna matter with fats is that you're gonna feel full in a different way. You're gonna feel full in a satiated way. Like, how do I explain it? Like, you're almost not gonna want to eat. Like, if you eat just like 100% fats, then you'll just feel like you just don't want to eat anymore. Like, you're not really sure why. It's like not necessarily your stomach's full or anything like that, but you just feel full. And you need all these different types of full, because if you just have like the fullness from fats, like that type of full filling, then it's not necessarily stomach full, and you don't have that stimulus in your stomach to be able to trigger that thing in your mind that makes you totally feel full. You want to try to totally feel full, and that's why the macro ratio matters the most. Because if you just said, oh, well, I want to feel full, if you say, well, just you can feel full off fats and you can feel full off of protein, then what difference does it make which one I take? Well, it's because they're two different types of full. You want to be able to feel full in your stomach, and you also want to feel the satiation of fullness as well. So having a good little balance of both of them. You want to eat enough protein where your stomach feels full, but you also want to have enough fats so that you feel satiated full, because you can get that bloated full feeling and still like want to eat stuff and still like feel like binge eating. And a lot of times fats can help with binge eating because it gives you that satiation full. Whereas, you know, on the other hand, you know, if you get that satiation full from fats, but then you don't get the fullness from your proteins, then you're gonna feel kind of that same urge to eat and that same binge eating type of thing if you have any of these macro ratios off way too much. Now, I tend to naturally have my macro ratio balanced out pretty well, but being in this diet is really like kind of honed in on those skills and honed in on like what really matters. And to be honest, the ratio kind of differentiates day to day, and that's why I wanted to make this video. Part of the reason why I wanted to make this video, because you need to be able to read your body and tell what kind of full that you need. Like, if you have that bloated full feeling, then you know you may need to eat more fats to feel full. Or if you feel that satiated full but your stomach just feels empty still, then you need to have more proteins in there. So hopefully that part of that was helpful. Let's break down into carbs. Now, carbs, what I'm going to say about carbs is they make you feel better. they really don't help with fullness. They may help you feel full temporarily, but the issue with carbs is you only feel full temporarily. They'll help you feel full quicker too, but the caveat to that is you just do not feel full long. It don't matter if you're eating whole grain, not whole grain, whole wheat, whatever it is, simple carbs or not simple carbs. It will matter a little bit. Like, the more wholesome the food is, the longer you will feel full. The more simplistic the sugars are, the less you'll feel full longer. The main factor of the carbs are going to make you feel in your diet. And like I said, it mainly matters when you're in a diet, when you're in a deficit, because you'll start to feel depleted. You'll start to feel like you don't have energy. You'll start to feel things muscularly and in your joints and whatnot. And what I've noticed is, like, whenever you have more carbs, you have not necessarily more energy. I'm not having more energy from my carbs necessarily, but I feel a lot better. Like, my muscles don't feel like, when I'm in the gym and I'm lifting, I don't feel like I'm about to pull a muscle. I feel more full whenever I'm full muscularly. That's a completely different type of full than any of the other fulls that I've talked about in this video. Because this is like full, like whenever you're working out and you get a pump. I'm sure if you ever hit the gym, you've got a pump before. So, by consuming more carbs, you'll be able to get a better pump. You'll be able to feel better in the gym. Like, your just muscle fibers feel better. If you're having stuff like muscle spasms and whatnot, it can be because your micronutrients, but a lot of times it's because your carbs are too low. Your calories can be too low as well, but if your carbs are too low, then you'll really start to, not have any blood glycogen. You'll not have any of that energy that your body can tap into very rapidly. And a lot of times, like, say for instance, if you're doing cardio and you're doing a lot of cardio, like, say for instance, I just burned like 400 calories on the stair stepper. The deeper and deeper you get into that calorie deficit on, like, the cardio machine at one particular session, your body won't have time to replenish your blood glycogen. It won't have time to replenish your energy levels and all the things that your body needs to keep you rolling and keep you in a healthy state. For example, I started getting super depleted and started feeling like almost like spasms in like my calves, and like right now, like, I keep putting my elbow down, I'm feeling like twitches in my arm, in my forearm, and like it's just like I can feel my muscle fibers are just like they're super dry right now, and it's because of doing that cardio session. It's really depleted me and really pulled all you can out of your body. And carbs are really good at replenishing that really quickly. When I say really quickly, it can do it, roughly like 4 hours or so, give or take, a couple hours, depending on yourself and depending on, how depleted you are. A lot of different factors. But point being is, being in a higher carb state, then you're going to feel better. And you may ask, well, then why don't I just consume a lot of carbs if I'm just going to feel better? Well, then you're going to feel a lot more hungry a lot of the time. Like, you can essentially eat hella carbs and just eat. You can eat all your calories and carbs, and then you're just gonna feel full. You're gonna feel hungry all the time. And when you're in a diet, you don't want to feel hungry all the time, because that's what's gonna make you mess up on your diet. That's what's gonna make you binge eat. That's what's gonna make you fall off your diet. And that's what's gonna make you eat things you should not be eating, and eat unhealthy and make unhealthy decisions in your diet. I'm gonna go ahead and dive in a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and dive in a little bit in this video. I'll probably make another video on this topic, but I'm going to dive into what, like, the carb sources are, the fat sources are, and the protein sources are, and how you can kind of pick those different sources out. For example, there's like a lot of people that may think like, oh, it's peanut butter, it has 8 grams of protein, that's a good protein source. Peanut butter is a horrible protein source. Any type of nut or like olive oil, cheese, pretty much anything that's in that 8 grams of protein, beans, a lot of things like that. If it's around 8 grams of protein in it, it's not going to be considered a good protein source at all. And I can't say that it's going to be a good fat source or good carb source either, because it does differ. Like, say for instance with peanut butter. Peanut butter is what I would consider a fat source. Now, if you're trying to get more fats in your diet, that's one of my go-tos for getting more fat in my diet, or just nuts.
These nuts. Got him!
Or something along those lines. I don't really like to do too much cheese, just because it's a lot of calories, and to me it just doesn't help with feeling full. I don't know. Peanut butter just helps a lot more with cravings. So it helps to know like what foods to go to whenever you're needing to get a certain macronutrient boosted up. Now, carbs to me is a little bit easier one, because there's so many different carb sources out there. You have candy, you have bread, you have rice, you have pasta, just all these different like bread type sources. Those are what carbs are. Anything that's made out of flour. All those are what I consider a carb source. Now, I don't necessarily care if the carbs have some fat in it. Like, say, for instance, gravy. Gravy can be one of those things where it may have a lot of fat in it, it may have a lot of carbs in it, but it's primarily, I would consider, a carb source, because even though it does have a little bit of fat in it, it's primarily made of carbs. Whereas, say, for instance, peanut butter, it has a little bit of carbs and it has a little bit of protein in it, but it's still primarily a fat source. If you look at the majority of the calories that are coming from it, it's from fat. And that's one of the biggest things to keep in mind. You know, there's other stuff out there with fats that may help, like, say, for instance, avocado. I try to stick with healthier options in fats, because a lot of times fats can do a lot for your health if you're eating the right fat source. If you're eating good, healthy fat sources, they just tend to help lubricate your body a lot better. Like, that's why I don't necessarily go to, like, cheese, because cheese doesn't really help with, like, overall, like, really anything as far as, like, giving you extra health benefits from it. To be honest, if anything, it does worse. It may cause constipation, and fats are one of the best go-tos for, like, to help with, like, stuff like constipation. That's kind of one of the things that tells me whether I'm doing too many carbs or I'm getting enough fats in. Like, say, for instance, if I'm, like, the opposite of constipated and I got, like, the runs or something like that, then I know I'm probably taking in too many fats. So, you know, you just gotta look at all these little telltale signs of your body and how you're feeling and whatnot. One of the things that people will struggle with protein is that they may think, like, all protein sources are created equal. So, like, pretty much any fish, shrimp, stuff like that, that's going to be a good protein source. A lean steak, anything that's lean is what I'd be considered a good source of protein. But you could get, like, a McDonald's cheeseburger or something like that, and that's not going to necessarily be a good source of protein because they have so much fat in it. Or, say, for instance, like hot dogs. Hot dogs have so much fat in them, they're really considered a good fat source and not even a good protein source. So when I say a good fat source, I'm just saying they have a lot of fat in them. It's not even something I would tell people to go to, because, you know, hot dogs is going to be one of those things that doesn't really add any health benefits to your life. That's why I try to get most of my fats from, like grass-fed butter, avocado, nuts. That's probably my main go-tos for trying to get fat sources in. And I try to stick away from everything else. Like, I try to stay away from, like, Miracle Whip. If I do use Miracle Whip or something like that, it's like the light version of that. That way I'm not taking in too many calories, because, like, the fat sources from Miracle Whip, any type of, like, processed version of a fat is not going to be a good fat. So, guys, let me know if you thought this video was helpful. All of these videos right here are off the top of my dome. I don't really have anything written down in front of me. I'm not really, you know, bulleting this thing out. So there's things off the top of my head, things that I want to talk to you guys about. And it's kind of how I'm going to just do these videos. It's kind of how I've always done these videos, but, like, I want to turn the camera on and just talk to you guys about different fitness things and kind of update y'all with, like, how I'm feeling about my diet, how I'm feeling about, you know, everything that I'm going through, and other insights that I'm running into as I'm dieting and dieting deeper. 3 weeks out from this competition, so I got to really start busting down, and I've taken this diet a little bit easier than what I should have. I've also had a lot going on in my life that makes me not want to even care about this diet, but I've still done well enough that I'm getting leaner and getting leaner, and I'm the leanest I've ever been. My physique's better than it's ever been, and I'm really, really proud of that. I'm not really proud of the condition that I'm at for having to hit this show. I should have done things a lot more aggressively, but being this is my first competition, and being that I'm taking my body to like an all new level, and to be honest, I may not even compete again, because what I've learned is by competing, it's very, very unhealthy. Like, unless you, like, want to, like, take a 6-month prep or something like that, or you're just, like, stay super lean. Like, if you're one of those people that, like, you struggle to put on muscle, then you probably do really well when it comes to being able to get lean. And I'm the exact opposite. I struggle with all of it. You know, I struggle with putting on muscle, and I struggle with getting lean, but I'd say I'd probably at most struggle with getting lean more than anything. So that's a struggle that I have. I don't lose weight very quickly. I gain it very quickly. And this next year, we'll kind of play things out. We'll see how things go. And I'm really planning on taking my bulk even more seriously than I did last year. I did a really good job up until, like, the last month or two of my bulk last year, because I was out of town working like 80 hours a day, or 80 hours a week, however you call that, not a day. But I was working, you know, 80 hours a week, and I was working out of town, and I got my meals paid for and everything, so I just started crashing food and, like, overeating every single meal, like, way overeating. probably by like almost probably 500 to 1,000 calories every day, and that really put me in like super bulk mode, like a bear mode, and it kind of sucked because I was doing really good throughout the diet, and I stayed pretty damn lean the whole entire diet up until that point, and I just put on a massive amount of weight at the very end. And this one here, I'm planning on tracking my calories more. I didn't even really track my calories, I didn't track anything, I just tried to keep my protein levels high, and I just ate and just kind of went with the flow. And like I said, I did really, really well up until that last month or two where I just like kind of started like almost not binge eating, because it wasn't necessarily binge eating, it was just overeating. And this year I just want to stay leaner year round. That way maybe this next year coming up I can be even more leaner, even better shape. I know I'll be in better shape, like that's definitely gonna happen, but I also don't want to get as in bear mode as I did, and I don't carry as much body fat as I did during that time. So I'm going to be watching my macronutrients a little bit better on this next diet. But like I said, when I'm in a bulk, I'm mainly going to be focusing on my calories. I'm mainly going to be focusing on my proteins, and that's how I'll continue to do things, because like I said, those are the main things that matter. And then I'll just worry about how I'm feeling. I'll probably keep my diet. It'll probably be a little bit more like a keto diet. I'm not going to say it's going to be exactly like a keto diet, but I'm going to definitely keep my fats a lot higher than what I have been in the past, just because just how I've realized like how you feel by eating these different macronutrients. And hopefully this video will help you guys eat your macronutrients in a way that assists you with your diet. So make sure you smash that thumbs up button if this video was helpful for you guys, and hit that belly button, that bell notification majigger button, because guess what? Nobody's viewing my videos. I want to quit. I want to give up. But I'm not just yet. I'm not just yet. Thinking about creating a second YouTube channel. Put down in the comments some names that you might want to, that might be a good name. I'm thinking about doing like just MalaKi-Ki Fitness or MG Fitness or something like that. Not sure. I don't know guys. I don't even know what's going on with life right now. But I got a video coming out on that and like what's going on with my life, and you'll kind of understand a little bit better whenever I come out with that video. But I'll catch you on the next one.